Hello fourth graders and welcome to another English video lesson. We continue exploring the topic of culture and today we are moving on to African South. My name is Irena and I will be your English teacher for the day. As always, if you complete all the tasks and activities, you will be expected to do certain things. Today's outcomes are the following. A student describes a holiday or a ceremony or a festival typical for the African South. And a student compares customs and traditions of the African South with their own culture. To be able to do that, you will need something to write with and something to write on. Also, make sure that you have gadgets with internet access at hand. If you're not ready, prepare those things before you begin. You can always pause or replay the video at any time, not just when you are instructed to do so. Make sure that you go through the lesson at your own pace. So let's begin. When you hear the following concepts or ideas, the oldest inhabited continent on Earth, Al-Kibulan, the name which translates to Mother of Mankind or the Garden of Eden, and when you hear the adjectives like enormous, beautiful, varied, exciting, colorful, and diverse, which continent comes to mind? Can you think of something? So, our journey around the globe obviously goes on. So, today we are changing the continent. From Asia, we are going to this oldest inhabited continent on Earth. It's Africa. Its ancient name is Al-Kibulan. As you can see here, it means the mother of mankind, which is related to the fact that Africa is the oldest inhabited continent on Earth. So, the adjectives that you can see here are the ones those familiar with this continent will use to describe it. So, let's go to our journey to the African South. But how diverse is really Africa? This adjective has been used to describe it, but let's see what it actually means. And what does this diversity refer to? Follow this link and open the content to watch the video and answer the following questions. Which regions of Africa are mentioned in the video? What is the division based on? What do you learn about African geography? What language or languages is or are spoken in Africa? And what does the term African South refer to? Pause the video and complete this task. Let's check your answers. The first question was, which regions of Africa are mentioned? The answer is North, East, Central, West, and Southern Africa. What is this division based on? The answer is geography and political, economic conditions. What did you learn about African geography from the video? We learned that its geography is very diverse. There are deserts, savannas, lakes, and rivers. In terms of languages, we found out that there are hundreds of different languages spoken, most of which are not mutually intelligible. And finally, we learned that the South Africa, the concept of African South, refers to the countries at the south of Africa, geographically speaking, or to the countries belonging to the Southern African Customs Union or the Southern African Development Community. These are the geographical and political divisions. Let's move on. African South. So, as you have heard, there are different ways to determine what the African South refers to. We can think of geographical division, and we can think of different political divisions, such as the UN division, the Southern African Customs Union, or the Southern African Development Community. Just to show what it actually means, have a look at these two maps. The one on the left-hand side shows the UN sub-region of Southern Africa. It is marked red. And the one on the right-hand side shows what African South means according to the Southern African Development Community. As you can see, the division on the right-hand side, the one according to the South African Development Community, is much larger. So the green area is much bigger than the UN division. In general, we can say that Southern Africa is the southernmost region of the African continent, comprising the countries of Angola, Botswana, Lesotho, Malawi, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, Swaziland, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. The island nation of Madagascar is excluded because of its distinct language and cultural heritage. Let's go on. We spoke about African diversity. African diversity is most visible through its ethnic groups. If you are unsure of the concept, let me remind you that ethnic group is a group of people who share similar beliefs, values, and behavior. Also, language, religion, ancestry, or any other characteristics that are often handed down from one generation to the next. Ethnic groups cannot be identified with nations, nor the people of the same ethnic group have to live in the same country. According to some available information, there are as many as 800 ethnic groups in Africa. Follow this link and open the video about the biggest ones. Pay special attention to chapters 1 and 4, in which some of the ethnic groups in Southern Africa are presented. The information you learn about them will be the starting point for your project tasks. As you watch the video, answer the following question. Which are the two biggest ethnic groups in Southern Africa? And write down 2 facts about each of them. Pause the video and do the task. Here are some possible answers. The information you learned in this video and in the previous one will be the starting point for your project task, which has to do with African culture. In this video, you learned that the 2 biggest ethnic groups in Southern Africa are the Khoisan and the Himba. You were supposed to write down 2 facts about each of the ethnic groups. Here are some potential answers. You could have opted for something else. The Khoisan are the original inhabitants of South Africa, and there are members of the San or the Bushmen and the Khoi tribes or groups. The Himba cover the area in Namibia and Angola, and there's characterized by the fact that they use ochre mixture for hair and body decoration. And now let's move on to your project task. You can download the instructions here if you follow this link, but let me tell you what you are supposed to do. Once you have completed this task, you will learn something more about African culture, but you will also use something about your own. The first part of the task is to choose some kind of a special occasion commemorated in the south of Africa. It can be a public or religious holiday. It can be some kind of a ceremony. It can be a festival. Whatever you think is interesting or intriguing. Then conduct research and find the answers to the following questions. Number 1. Where is this holiday or a special occasion observed or celebrated? In which countries or parts of Africa? Of course, we think of African South. Question number 2. When is it celebrated or observed? Is there a specific time or date or part of the year? Is this time fixed or does it change? What does it depend on? Question number 3. Who celebrates or observes this ceremony or festival? Which culture or ethnic or religious group perhaps? Question number 4. Why is this holiday festival or ceremony observed or celebrated? Is it connected to some religious belief? Is it perhaps some kind of a historical event? Does it have something to do with rites of passage or changes in nature? Explain the reasons. And the last question is, what do people do on this day? How do they spend it? What do they eat? What do they drink? What activities do they have? Within this final question, you should find 2 typical customs or traditions for this occasion, which you have to describe and explain to your classmates. Besides that, find another one, the third one, custom or tradition, which you can compare to your own culture. That is, something that is similar in some ways to Croatia. It is highly likely that you will come across terminology with no English translation or equivalent. Make sure to have explanations ready so that your audience can follow your presentation easily. Prepare to present what you find in the form of your own choice. It can be a poster, you can use slides, or you can make a video. Each question should be answered in at least 100 words, which means you should speak about it for a minute or a minute and a half. If you like, you can even find and show a video which shows the 2 customs, but you have to be ready to talk about it and explain it using your own language. The last part of the task is to find the 3rd custom or tradition, which would be something you can compare to your own culture. So, while researching, think about any possible similarities or differences that you can draw conclusions from. Present your findings in a written text of 100 to 150 words. Describe that particular custom or tradition and the similarities and differences, and think about the way it is celebrated and compare it to something observed in our own culture. While working on the final part of the task, you can consult this rubric. It has to do with content, language, organization, elements of culture, and length. You can download the rubric if you follow the link. Just like every time when we speak about culture, pay extra attention to the element of culture component. And this is it for the day. I hope that you have enjoyed this trip to the African South. Until next time, take care.